Okay, so let's go and see how we might do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rough in 5 different groups. So over here on the right column, I'm just going to add a group here. And they're going to call this group panel 1. And let me think for a second, because what we're going to do is we're going to create all the UI stuff. So that is going to be a column. And we'll have it sit in the middle there. We'll go ahead and just drop it with like a height of 6 something. And for now, it's not super important for any of this. What I'm going to do though is I want to give this a slight color to it. And then I am going to have this, let's see, collapse when hidden, and when the get data, when the nav parameter is, let's see, what am I calling these things? I think step 1. Step 1. Yep. When it's step 1, this element is visible. So we'll actually uncheck that. And then now we'll go ahead and copy and paste that. I'll take panel 2 and moving along the rainbow, we're going to put this one as step 2. It's visible. And then we'll go ahead and put this as step 3 for this panel number 3. Moving along, here we go. Step 4. Okay, and one more, step 5. Cool. And I should note here, as I was building this out, I was thinking that a lot of things that go in Bubble, if you ever played a musical instrument or played a sport, you know that you get a little bit better as you warm up. And so I just want to mention that part of this entire process here is helping you get warmed up and then helping you get to a point where things really start to click. Because as I was doing these, I could just tell, like, I'm actually quite warmed up in terms of where I'm at, being able to click around and do all this fun stuff here, where it's still a little bit tedious, just over here copying and pasting groups and then relabeling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what you can see here, and the reason why, oh yeah, I gotta change some colors on these ones. The reasons why for let's go blue. And then this one. All the way, I think we already did a red, so we'll go pinkish. Okay, cool. The reason why I did this is it's just a visual confirmation. We're not going to keep these this color, but it's just a visual confirmation that our thing is working, our navigation thing. So, and again, to just show off our URL, just to lock this in for learning, is that this nav parameter updates via this workflow. Each time one of these clicks, we're going to the same index page on all these. We're just updating this nav parameter's value. And again, it's just the exact same thing as if you were to come in here and set a state and go and grab one of these and be like, oh, this state variable, we're going to change its value. It's just that this value or whatever is being stored and interacted with here on the page up and top, rather than just kind of in the back end as it is for a state variable. So Again, just to kind of close the loop on the locking in if that happens to be new to you. Okay, so let's continue. We've got this amazing thing that works. Now we need an input section. So this is going to be pretty easy. What we're going to do is we're just going to grab a group here. I'm going to head over to panel 1. Just going to drop this group in. And then I'm going to say, here we are for session goals. And let me think about this. So I think what I want to have happen is I want it like this. And I want this to maybe be like 480. Yeah, so it kind of lines up with that. I dig it. Okay, so session goals. What am I aiming to accomplish in this session? A bubble work. Then we're going to grab an input here for the multi-line input. That's what I'm looking for. And what do we got over here? For this stuff, I think we do have a 20 pixel margin on this group. Okay, that's what I want to do. I wanted to make sure that's not inside of that other group. That's what I thought. Okay, there we go. I want 20 there. And then same for this one. And on the top. And then I want to let this one expand out. And maybe have let's see, this space can kind of prime like the thoughts around what would show up here. And I'm going to have this be this with a line spacing of 1.3. And then I'm going to add a button. And not a fan of any of these. But let's see what we're working with. Okay, so we're kind of working with some, let's see. I think we'll copy this this blue color. Can I get that? No. How about here? Let's see. I don't think it copied. All right, time for a new extension. Because, okay, there 4D something? Yes, got it, great. All right, so let's go here. For that, we're going to go ahead and remove this. And then we are going to say continue. We're going to make this button much better, much bigger. Yep, just give it some nice spacing all around. Okay, cool. So session goals. And okay, let's see. Oh, there's like a group inside of a group here. Let's go and undo the onion. Okay. All right, so referring back to my original thing, I'm now working on building the input screens. And this is what I was aiming to accomplish for this moment in time, for this session. So let me continue to rock and roll on this. And maybe we'll go ahead and just add a slight border to this. Solid 1, round is 50 now, let's go like 10. Okay, I'm actually more of a fan of having the background be this color and then having the text be white. Okay, so let's make that 12. I'm aiming to build a page cool. All right, so we could hit continue, but there's nothing to do yet. I'm not a fan of that hovered thing, so let's kill that. Let's actually do it when it's clicked. It's pressed. And let's get a little off-colored, start here and go here. Perfect. All right, so we're still on, we're on user interface here, and we could go down to workflows and store some data that's inputted from this thing, but I'm not a fan. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is let's see. It's going to be the fastest way to duplicate this. I believe the fastest way is just going to be copy, paste, and then I'll actually just have to look at panel, this panel, copy that, paste, or I could just do that, whatever. Cool, cool. So let's hide panel 1, and then we can just copy this stuff over. That's going to be the easiest way, I believe. And so what happened there? So when I look at my original question, that helps bring out the specificity of what someone is trying to accomplish, or what you might be trying to accomplish as you build and tackle the task of your task for that day. What I would say is that it's really made up of user interface, data, and workflows. So let's actually go ahead. Can I get more specific? Add specificity. So I am going to take this piece of text and give it a margin left. Next, next. And we'll just make it italics or something. So we're going to say user interface. And I'd actually like to make these bigger. This for 16 here and 16 here. And then so now, forget, I'm not a fan of the italics. Forget that. Gotham rounded medium, Gotham rounded bold. Cool, I like that. So now, just copy and paste 2 of those. So user interface, data, and oh yeah. So this is my world where I say if I were to build blank blank blank, then if I were to build, so we could stop it here, then, and start it here. And these are all blank, fill in the blank types of things for a template. Okay, so let's see. So I want to change this around slightly. I want these to They can stay a multi-line, that's fine, but I definitely want them less tall. Maybe like something that appears to be 2 lines, and then there would probably be a scroll bar that would appear in there. Okay, so I'm going to drop this. So I have to decide where I want to put a plus sign. That means we can add more of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these all into a group, a column group. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I would like this column group to have a slight border so that it shows that this is its own section. Do it around this at 10, and then we're going to bring this down to like 10. So let's see how we're looking. Oh, so what I'll definitely want to do, so the session goals, what am I aiming to accomplish this section? And then add specificity. Can I get more specific about my answer to the first question? So I'm going to say first question. Okay, I like that. Answer Q1. And then we're going to insert some dynamic data, and I'll just leave that hanging for now. And then grab a margin top of and let's actually go out for some lorem ipsum. Just grab that, and then we'll come back later. So we can just get a view on our UI of how this is going. So on the user interface, what we want to say here is basically, so I want that one to be 20 and I want this one to only be 8. So to kind of show that these are grouped together. So if I were to if I were to create, if I were to save, so if I were to ... and then I'll take this one and I'll put next. Then so if I were to, we'll just shorten it to then this task would be complete, and I'd celebrate. Okay, I dig it. And then, so what we want to do is we want to Do we want to have a repeating group here? And then we just add additional ones. I believe we do. Okay, so we're doing amazing. We're doing great. And as you can see, under normal circumstances, I would probably take a break because of the amount of time that this page has been being built out and this functionality. However, for the purpose of this video and my viewing audience, I press on. But so just because it's kind of a stopping point where I'm realizing, let's see. So copy that whole thing. Actually, no, I want to. So this is user interface. Fill in the blanks. And because I'm actually making this as like a live product, like this will show up on a website where someone can go do this after this video, and you can go fill out and spend 5 minutes before you work on your bubble tasks, and you can, you know, get a checklist. Like the output of this will be a checklist where you can go over, and as you're working on things, you can just come back to the checklist and check them off and get that amazing feeling of accomplishment and dopamine hit from crushing your tasks. So let's see, this group Q, I want these, I want this one to pop up here, this one to pop up here, and this one to pop up here. This is text 1. I want this to be text 2. And I don't need this group. So go next here, previous here, and pretty good, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. All right. So I think for now, in the purpose of this video, you know, perhaps I'll come back and I'll actually put in the repeating group that could have a plus sign where you could let's go 60 on these. Cool. And we could add tooltips. Maybe I'll do that at the end, but we could go here. We could drop this into a row group. We could add an icon, which I'm not going to do, but that icon could have like an info thing. And then when that's clicked, it could pop up, you know, what to do here, and so on and so forth. But for the sake of time, just to get through this now, what we can do here is copy this user interface one, paste that. So now this is data. How about we actually update that? Okay, and then send that away. Copy and paste this. And then let me pay attention to these. So this is multi in so I'm just going to call this fill in blank input UI1. Let me start with UI1s because they'll be easy to look up. And then 2, 3, and these are important because we actually use these. Whoa, what happened? We use these when we hit the submit button. So this is data 1. data 2, data 3. Alrighty then. This one is not data, workflows. Cool. All right, so keeping a clean bubble interface, nicely labeled things, makes me happy. Or something. Okay, so let's check out our page now. And this was definitely the hardest part of the UI, was this one right here. And what we'll do is we'll actually drop a continue button here and one here, and we'll call this button submit UI, button submit data, and then continue. So that way these things can be, we'll run a workflow on here with the user interface. Once this is filled out and it's hit submit, then we'll have this group collapse when hidden, this group collapse when hidden. I think this outside group collapses when hidden as well, so we don't need to do the third one. But so basically, then we can just have the interface pull these up so that there's only this thing is written just one time up here for this answer. And I'm just going to take this answer part and add a little BB code to it. And in case you've never seen that, if we said don't apply it, then we get that. If you've never seen that as an option. There you go. So you can do that for italics which is eyes, and then U for underline. So some quick tips coming at you. Okay, so we've got session goals. We've got add specificity. And you know what? We could, no, I like it that it shows everything, because then someone knows what to expect next. So that's cool. What else is going on in the world? I definitely want this one to take up 100% of the so that should now go down to here. Yeah, cool. So now it kind of looks like these panels belong together, which they do, according to back checking out our thing here. Amazing. Okay, so we just did the hardest panel. Congratulations. Now we're going to do panel number 3. Panel number 3 is just a simple, what pages am I working on? Okay, so for that one, what I'm going to do is I am just going to copy and paste that. Turn this one on. This is step 3. This is panel 3. Okay, wasn't sure if I hit that. Alrighty. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Oh, that's what, yeah, what the heck? Wait, what's going on? I'm looking at this little, geez, let me just go back. To when this was first added. Okay. All right, so this is how my brain turns into mush after this amount of work, but and that's why these types of things are great, because so my brain is mush. This is a free admission in this moment. But so I'll bring myself back to this thing, and that'll tighten it up. So what I've done is I'm still on this one of building the input screens. And so if I were to get super specific on this, and I wanted to plan out everything, it just depends on what level of focus that you want to take into the project, and play around with it. You can play around. You can spend 20 minutes planning all your work for the afternoon, and that's great. If your work goes that much quicker just because of your pre-planning. So because we could have build the input screens, and we could have build the input screen of question 1, input screen question 2, and so on. So what we've been able to accomplish then is these two. Oh, that feels good. They're knocked out. And we're on panel number 3. And what we're dealing here with is pages. And this is the easiest one in the world, because we'll just leave it like this. Cool. Now number 4. So we'll copy and paste this. Just make sure that says 4, and this says 4. All right, so now special elements. And hooey, this is going way faster than the other part. But I think there might be some additional things to this question. So let's see. Oh, I like this one. Because right now, when I went to go and build this, I knew I had a pretty big task ahead of me. I'm building the whole page. I got to build all the layout. I got to do all the data stuff, all the navigation. I got to build a bunch of workflows, right? Whereas, if you're touching, let's say you're building a feature that spans across several pages, you do really want to note that down, because like you're switching into kind of environments. I mean, they're pages, but it's good to know. It's like, oh, I'm working on these 4 pages across all of these things, and I'm doing this feature that extends and works its way through. I mean, maybe it's like maybe it's a status update thing as something works through a process, right? And that status is updated on each page, and you need to track that and have a workflow send something to the database, those types of things. So there you have it for that. Special elements. This is just really, really good to know. Like, if you know what you're going to do, half the time to go and build something is literally spent figuring out, like, if you don't know in your head what it is you're going to do, there's no way that you're going to get it onto the screen is a good way to put it. So, but if you at least have a little bit of an inkling, you can kind of figure it out as you go along. And that's the thought. That's the idea. So let's take a look how we're doing. Okay, I dig it, except I would like this one to have, do I want it to have that much? Yes. The answer is yes. All right, so now we're here. We've arrived to the last part of this item. So we built the left-hand nav in our user interface. We built the input screens. And so you can see how, like in my world with this little tiny, text setup, it's like, okay, I have to go back. But this would actually be bulleted out with checklists next to it. And wouldn't that be something awesome, right? So build the input screens, which is what we're doing. And then we'll build an outputted checklist. We added the conditionals to update as the user navigates between questions. So that's cool. And if we were to do all that, then the task would be done, which is what we're aiming for. We're so close. All right, so let's do it. Let's make this happen. Copy and paste this guy. Get a 5er here. And then, so what do we got here? We got a bonus question. So here we go. And this one's just kind of a funny one that I find it helpful to keep myself accountable, because it's like, am I going to really do this? Well, yeah, I will. Okay, got it. If you find it helpful too, let me know in the comments. Yeah, because that's what we're about here. We're about crushing the time that you spend building Bubble, and then obviously, it probably would go a little bit faster if I wasn't narrating this entire thing. But just, in terms of how this one's going, it's a group build, that's recorded. So, next up, so we've actually done this. Amazing work. We've done all these input screens here. Left-hand nav, build the input screens. Next, we'll need to build an outputted checklist. However, we have no data for that checklist to show anything up. We could lorem ipsum it. And since we're going in the world of user interfaces right now, we are going to continue in that direction. Because, yeah. So, is that one or two words? I believe it's one word. Your checklist. Hooray. Complete these items in your Bubble work session, and you will be the hero of the day. All right, so I suppose that this is item 6. I didn't copy with workflows, so let's just copy this. So step 5, we'll just call this checklist, because we're out of the steps. All right, so we've got this panel, we've got all these panels. I'll just copy this one, paste, and then this is panel checklist. And this one shows up when we're on checklist. Cool. What else? What else? So let's think about this. The way I think I'm going to have this set up, your checklist. So I'm going to start off with, and bring this one back down. Nope, I take it back. I think what we're going to do is this specificity one. This is the kind of the main thing that builds the checklist. So we're actually going to go with data. Sorry, user interface. And I just want to check, do I want, for the interface here, do I want to reuse this? And I do. I like it. So this panel checklist, actually the easiest way to do this is going to be a full-on delete. Go here, copy paste. And so I choose mine based on the number of steps and clicks I'll have to take once I'm there. So because I can easily copy and paste this over. So it's basically, can I copy and paste things into the area that I just did? That's how I decide. So panel checklist. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, this is the directive. Complete this stuff and you're going to be amazing. User interface. So what we want to have happen here is we would like a checkbox. Now the out of the box checkbox from Bubble is not that nice looking. So let's go over here. Let's look for checkbox. Style checkbox. Please only show me free. There must be a lot of them. Well, anyways, we'll go with this one. Don't see it. So we'll do a search. Oh, you know what? It's not under visual elements, it's under inputs. I would think it'd be under inputs. This is the one out of the box for Bubble. So let me just do a search here. Let me do a refresh. Having some troubles. All right. Well, looks like we're just going to go with this this one for now. So let's just do that. And it seems like my bubble editor is complaining. All right, so I'm not able to access any of this stuff. What am I going to have to do? See what we get here. Okay, cool. So that was a just a new tab, not anything else special. Oh, you know what? We actually want this one. Okay, cool. All right, so amazing work to hang in for this amount of time with such a video. But what we're seeing here, again, you can see that I just keep referring back to this thing, and that is the trick. And you're also getting the opportunity to see what is it like to build something in Bubble when you have an idea. And literally my idea was, oh, okay, I can build like a questionnaire, and maybe they can output a checklist that could help someone to accomplish a thing, and I could do that, in an afternoon's time. So that's pretty amazing. That's the power of no code. And the thing about it is, like, you don't have to go and talk to anyone. You know what I mean? You don't have to ask for anyone's permission. Like, can I do this? Could I put this out on the web? Am I allowed to? Is that okay? Please, Mr. People Technology, someone somewhere, right? Like, you can just follow UI, find some tutorials. You might have to piece together a couple tutorials that piece each of the parts that you want to do, but then you just go out there, and it's always great. My recommendation is that you build the UI first. And then once you've got the UI going, you kind of understand what's going on, and you understand what is related to each other's. Whereas if the UI is not there, and you're just kind of trying to think about it conceptually, this is just my perspective that to me is more difficult. But there are other superhumans out there who maybe it's not. So we've got this checklist panel, and I'm not sure why it's not showing. Is there a conditional on this checklist? Amazing. All right, so we're going to do that again. We're just going to copy and paste this one. Panel checklist. URL thing. Checklist. Easy copy and paste. Cool. All right. So oh, you know what it was? Why we had all of those problems right there is that because I installed that other checklist plugin. A lot of times the JavaScript on some plugins, or not a lot of times, but it's potential that this plugin was conflicting with some stuff. So let's find something different. Let's go with this new one from this person. Shout out. Shout out to Pal G. He's got a ton of free plugins. Thank you, Paul G. What a stud. All right, so let's see what we got. And let's finish this. Let's finish this. So down here under, don't see checklist things there, checkboxes. Don't see. There we are. Style checkbox. Amazing. Okay, cool. All right, so let's drop one of these in here. And let's go ahead and check its layout. So when this one is clicked, do we have a workflow that runs? Sends it to checklist. Yes, we do. Amazing. Except for not being able to style it. All right, so that's enough strikeouts. We'll move on. No more shoutouts to you, sir. All right, so the old-fashioned checkbox. Checkbox UI 1. Let's go find it here. And what I want to do, is I'm just going to group these into a row. And yeah, we do want that fixed width. Does need to have a minimal height. All right, that should help. And this is a row. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, because what I actually wanted to have happen is this to have the margins. Found it. And what we're going to do here is task 1 goes here. Put some curly brackets so we know to come back for data. And then we'll copy. So let's see, maybe at the bottom, this is group checklist 1. And you know what we'd actually do here is that we would look for a repeating group. And so we'd look at the user interface. We'd have a user interface checklist group. But I'm just going to build it with 3 for now, for the sake of this video. All right. Okay, and then finally workflows. And then let's see, so maybe we would add some confetti. But I've looked at this one and I know this one that the mouse has to be over. Take a look. No, we'll call it good. For a long tutorial like this, we'll call it good. All right, so we've got we basically built it. We built all of the UI. Next up, let's tackle the data.